Hey folks, Justin from Tackle Tactics. Today we're going to have a look at another ZMan plastic, how to rig and fish. And we're looking at a larger model curl tail plastic in the range, very popular inshore on the snapper, mulloway, big flathead, and also transfers well offshore to reef and pelagic species. And that is the ZMan 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ. So, long name, just about as long as its tail on there. Plenty of tail action to attract those fish and trigger strikes. In terms of colours in the range, not a massive range of colours, but definitely covering all those key options. So we've got our pearls and our bad shads and our nuke pilchard glows for that natural baitfish colour. We've got a glow for those that like a glow plastic. And then you step into a couple of darker colours with your motor oil and your midnight oil, and those fluoro / UV options as well. So plenty of bright colours in there to attract the attention of the fish, and that crazy UV of that motor oil and that midnight oil again. So whether you're fishing that clear water, bright days, and you want that natural baitfish colour, you're looking for that darker silhouette colour in dirty water or that UV, or whether you're looking for that fluoro colour to mix it up and get the bite. So colour wise, we're covered with that 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ. It's basically a minnow style sort of body with a bit of ribbing on the top there that holds scent really well, and also a belly slot that holds scent well. And then that tail, we've got that long curl tail which provides plenty of action. Makes it an easy plastic to fish, whether you're fishing it fast, whether you're fishing it slow. It's got action on the sink, it's got action on the retrieve, and even just the water movement as well will move that tail around. So it's basically modelled off the success of that 4-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ. So that 4-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ has been in the range for a long time, many years. And again, angler requests drive so many new products. So anglers wanted this plastic in a larger version, and so it's stepped up to that 5-inch StreakZ Curly. So you can see quite a bit more bulk in the body, and also that long tail action again that makes it so effective. So a deadly plastic on a wide range of species. In terms of rigging and fishing it, so we've got it here on a RevLocks HD Jig Head. So the key thing with that RevLocks HD from TT Lures is it's got that split grip grub keeper. So it's got that grub keeper separated from the head of the plastic, which creates a gap in there. And when you push that 10 times tough ZMan plastic up and over that keeper, it locks into that gap and it locks it on there so it doesn't slide when you're getting rattles and that sort of thing. So it keeps it in place when you're working that plastic, casting that plastic. And that's a 5.0 there. So our TT Lures RevLocks HD Jig Head in a 5.0 is a pretty nice fit for your flathead, snapper, mulloway, that sort of thing. Anglers sometimes like to step that up then to the 6.0. So the 6.0 is especially popular when you get offshore, bigger species, brutal stopping power. That 6.0 is a thicker gauge hook, so it gives you more hook exposure for hooking those bigger fish, and it also gives you additional strength in that 6.0 hook. So those TT RevLocks HD Jig Heads come with a mustard black nickel chemically sharpened hook. So nice and sticky in the point there to get that hook penetration, but brutally strong stopping power in that jig head. So a 5.0 or a 6.0 fits that really nicely. You know, if you're fishing for smaller target species, pan size snapper, flathead, that sort of thing, you may opt for that 5.0. If you want that brutal power of that 6.0, you can then step up to that larger hook. So that's in our RevLocks HD. You'll see on the packaging with the RevLocks, it'll say there, it's got a little HD there for the HD version, and black on top, blue on the bottom for our HD, as we said, reversed on our finesse. We've said in the past with the blue top and the black bottom, and then also you'll see extra heavy or heavy on that hook in there as well. So that's our RevLocks HD 5.0, 6.0, and you're ready to go chase mulloway, snapper, big flathead, pelagic species, stack of different stuff offshore. A newer addition to the range, if you want a painted head in your 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ, the Big Eyes Jig Head, you'll see there, painted head, so you can either match your plastic or contrast your plastic. And this is the black with the glow eye, so perfect on that midnight oil colour. A nice dark presentation for dirtier water, or that glow eye for down deep. There's another nice natural presentation, so that's the nuked pilchard glow, and that's on the pearl and blue head there with the silver eye. So you can see that plastic and that head team up very nicely to create a natural baitfish sort of presentation. Alternatively, we can take that head colour and we can use it to create a contrast with the plastic. So there you can see I've got a pearl 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ, and I've teamed it up with the black head with the glow eye, and I've teamed it up with the pink head. So you can use that head colour to create that natural presentation, or you can switch it up and use that head colour to create a bit of pop or a bit of contrast with the plastic that you're using. And that big eyes is in a 5.0, so that 5.0 fits really nicely in that plastic. Really good a painted head if you've got a finicky bite, or you really wanted to achieve a little bit more pop, or match the hatch, or create some sort of crazy presentation like these two guys here. So that's our pink head with a silver eye on a pink glow, and that's the hot chartreuse with the chartreuse head with a red eye. So you can see, the fish are not going to miss those presentations when they drop down there, that's for sure. It'll certainly trigger a reaction strike from fish. So utilising that painted head, that 5.0 in the TT Lures Big Eyes, to mix up that presentation and change the look of it and attract that fish, trigger that strike. Couple of options for adding flash and vibration to our 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ. So here is our RevLocks. So the RevLocks, basically the Headlocks HD, the Big Eyes and the RevLocks are all built on that brutally strong mustard black nickel chemically sharpened hook. So plenty of stopping power in that hook while still being black nickel and chemically sharpened, so nice and pointy as well. So our RevLocks, you've got that long curly tail, lots and lots of action there. We've also added that flash and vibration under the belly of the plastic as well. So creates a bit more vibration, creates a bit of flash, even more attention to your presentation. So it's a great one for offshore where you want to drop it down and just allow that plastic to sink down, the blade spinning, it's creating flash, vibration, attracting the fish. So you might throw one rod out with the centre jerk shad on, throw the other out with the curl tail, put it in the rod holder and let it slowly sink its way down. So again, in that RevLocks, we're on the 5.0, and you can see there's different blades on these jig heads. So as we've mentioned previously, you've got the nickel or the gold blade. So the gold blade's extremely popular in dirty water and lower light conditions, and the silver is popular in brighter light, clearer water, and also available in the rounder Colorado blade and also the thinner, narrow or willow blade. So the willow blade, faster speeds, runs deeper. The Colorado blade, that slower sort of thumping blade, depending on what you're after. So also, this lure is also extremely effective for Murray cod in the fresh, and those guys tend to love to put it out there with that Colorado blade in the gold. Very, very effective on the Murray cod as well, and also an excellent spinnerbait and chatterbait trailer as well, that big plastic on your larger spinnerbaits like the TT Lures bigger strikers or the Tornado, or also on the larger chatterbaits. So there you go, 5.0 in an extra heavy hook, and that's the RevLocks, adding flash and vibration to your presentation. So I also mentioned the 5-inch centre jerk shads there, and primarily because this plastic, its size and its shape and that sort of thing, very, very attractive to snapper, jobfish, kingfish, amberjack, pelagic species and reef species. So a lot of anglers you'll find will team these two plastics up together. It's like a 1-2 punch, a bit of a tag team job between the 5-inch centre jerk shads and the 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ. So this tail action is going to slow down the sink of your plastic, whereas that straighter tail on the centre jerk shad allows it to get down there quick. So what guys will do, they'll often have both of those rigged. They find deep structure or in deep water, depending on current and depth. They might go for the centre jerk shads to get down there quicker, or they might opt for that slower fall of the 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ. So something like amberjack and kingfish might be holding tight to structure on the bottom, so we might drop our 5-inch centre jerk shads. Jobfish, snapper and those sort of things might be feeding up higher in the water column, so by switching to that 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ we can slow the fall on that presentation. So if you love your offshore fishing and you're fishing one of these, maybe try adding the other one to your kit as well and see what other species you catch. And also on those days when the bite's a bit quiet, you might find one catches over the other one, so definitely worth a go. All right, back to our flash and vibration. Another way that we can add flash and vibration to our 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ is by adding a TT Lures Jig Spinner HD. So you've probably seen the smaller jig spinners on the lighter wire frame, perfect for bass and those sorts of things when you're wanting to add flash and vibration. This here is our HD version, so it's a heavier frame, and you can see that nice big gold Colorado blade on there is going to add plenty of thump, plenty of flash, plenty of vibration. This is an excellent presentation for Murray cod, that freshwater sort of option with that big curly tail, creating plenty of profile and action, and the thump and the vibration and the flash of that blade on the top there. Out of the box, guys, fish it for other species like barramundi as well, but dynamite in the fresh on those larger freshwater species like Murray cod. And that's our HD jig spinner. So heavy duty frame. It's available in a couple of frame sizes and a couple of blade sizes depending on what suits your presentation. So we're rigged on our Headlocks HD, our big eyes, our RevLocks. We've thrown a jig spinner on there with our Headlocks HD. We're ready to go catch a Murray cod. You can also rig this plastic weedless. It's got a belly slot in there, which is excellent for adding scent. The belly slot also is excellent for weedless rigging, as it allows your plastic to clear a lot easier on the hook, because that hook can slide up into the belly. And in this case here, our ChinLock SWS, so snagless weight system with that weighted belly, fish hits it and it allows that hook to slide further into the plastic, in turn giving you more hook clearance. So boom, fish clears the plastic and finds the hook. Something like this here with the ChinLock SWS, you might have a 1/8 or a 1/6 ounce in a 6.0, and that just gives you a little bit of weight, so you can use this plastic to roll through lilies, around timber. You cast it up in mangroves and roll it out. So you're basically targeting species like Murray cod, barramundi, fish that are feeding up in the water column, and they're feeding around that structure and smashing fish off the top. Or you can allow it at the same time, pause it and allow it to fall down naturally into the snag. So you can cast it in and drop it right beside structure, and then you can swim it slowly out. You can swim it through weed beds, lilies, all sorts of structure, and it is much more resistant to snagging and fouling than a standard jig head. So you can see on the front of there, it's got our ChinLock keeper. That locks the 10 times tough ZMan Elaztech plastic from sliding down. We just feed it through and away we go. And there are loads and loads of videos and info and that sort of thing on how to rig weedless and how to rig in general on the Tackle Tactics website, tackletactics.com.au. So make sure you jump on there and check out the rigging guide section. You'll find loads of rigging guides, and you'll also find a whole stack of videos on Soft Plastics 101, stepping you right through how to fish soft plastics. So that's our snagless weight system for that slow sink or rolling it over the top of weed and structure. We might want to power it down there a bit deeper and get it right down in amongst the snags. And in that case, we're probably going to step up and go with that SnakeLock jig head. So our SnakeLock jig head has that removable weight on the front. We can just clip that off, and that allows us to change head weights and hook sizes. So you might put together a little kit for yourself of different ChinLock hooks, different SnakeLock heads, or you can buy them pre-rigged if there's a particular size that you like to use. So in this case here, that 6.0 hook, so a 6.0 in our ChinLock SWS, a 6.0 in our SnakeLock fits really well. And we've got that head weight that allows us to get it down into the snag. And being buoyant, this plastic will sit up off the bottom and its tail will float around, attracting fish to the lure, triggering strikes. So a very effective plastic, rigged weedless as well. Species like Murray cod, barramundi, any larger predators where you want to fish structure. Alrighty, I've spoken about the belly slot and the little ribs on top that are really good for holding scent. I always scent my plastics. I think you want to maximise your chances of catching fish. So ProCure, loaded with real ground bait, but also powerful amino acids, bite stimulants, UV enhancement. It's a gel-based scent, so it sticks on really well. On that 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ, I smear a little bit on the top, I squirt a bit in the belly, and I slide it right down to the tip of the tail to try and get that fish to eat if they are a bit finicky. In the salt, mullet is always a favourite, bloody tuna, squid. You know, offshore fishing, you can't go past mullet, bloody tuna and squid. They're really, really effective on your plastics. In terms of fresh, I slide that mullet across into the fresh water as well. Also, garlic pluses are popular in the fresh, and anise plus or aniseed as well, popular in the fresh. So I scent up every 30 or so casts, or after I get a fish, I squirt a little bit more scent on there as well. And I reckon it just fires them up. You know, even if they hold on for a split second longer, it might be the difference between, oh, I just missed it, to, oh, yep, fish on. So definitely worth having a bit of scent there and scenting up. Alrighty, there you go. That is the 5-inch StreakZ Curly TailZ, 10 times tough Elaztech plastic from ZMan. Dynamite on your big flatties, mulloway, snapper, offshore on the amberjacks, kingfish, tuna, all sorts of reef and pelagic species love this big curly tail. So If you're into that sort of fishing, make sure you check that out. Some cool colours available. Get out there, get stuck into a few. All the best with the fishing.